The historical emphasis on university as the only viable option to gain adequate qualification has led to many students either studying something that they have no real interest in or dropping out after a year. There's a growing demand from South African organizations for candidates that have the skills and aptitude to face the fast-paced digital industry. There are those who say this needs to change, and students need to understand that there are other options open to them. To tell us more is Gary Bannatyne MD and co-founder of Digital Academy, who is a Level Up, also a MD. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We're talking here about the future of education, and let's just try to juxtapose the current situation in terms of course content choice and how that relates to the implications of future education intricacies.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. The industry is looking for technology jobs. The industry are looking for a lot of software development skills, and the challenge with some of the current learning institutions is the time it takes to get to a particular point, and more often than not, those are really theoretically based degrees and diplomas. And we're suggesting that at Level Up, we're suggesting that a demand-led program is the future of alternative education, where someone can understand what the industry needs today and react to it, and then 6 months later they can potentially be in a position where they're adding relevant value in a job.
So at the moment you have people studying humanities and science subjects, also people think they are lab related. What about IT? What about the Industrial Revolution related course content that is going to accommodate everybody in terms of what the industry desires?
The future of industry is going to depend on everyone coming together, but there's this golden thread of digital skills that need to be incorporated. So institutions are doing incredible work in the humanities space, in the creative arts space, but there needs to be a common overlap into the digital world. There's hundreds of jobs that are in demand in this country, particularly of skills that are in the creative space. But having the digital skills to support those skills it just puts you into a far better category than just having the creative skills.
It may sound too ghastly to contemplate for one to imagine a computer lab or a science lab and going into the future and thinking about artificial intelligence. Is there any other option except to say that those who are upcoming, say at middle school and high school level, should really change the way they think and the kind of courses they want to study and what they want to be in the future should not only rely on the heart's desires, but in terms of what they should study and which industry they want to work in?
Yeah, look, there's definitely a space for people to study what they love. If you're an artist and you study the creative arts, I mean, that's fantastic. If you love poetry, study poetry. We don't want to challenge that at all. We're just suggesting that we're going to build skills based on demand. So we're going to try to fill the gaps that industry wants to fill. And those are software development skills. Those are junior developers. Those are intermediate developers that are coming into the market. There's definitely space for all of that. Our belief is that we just want to base the development we do with the candidates coming into Level Up through our courses. We just want to make sure that they get work, because there's no point in creating often a bottleneck where guys are getting, young guys and ladies are getting really great educational interventions, but then what? Does it convert into a job? That's where we play a massive role in just making sure it converts to a relevant job.
The interaction between industry and academic institutions should really be a cause for concern in terms of, is your institution teaching the students to get jobs after that or to be able to start their own businesses? And it's not easy for anybody to just get out of a matric class and say, I'm going to university, I'm going to study this, and after this I'm going to work in this or create my own business. How is the synchronization process aligned in terms of academic requirements and job requirements?
So the academic requirements are fully metricized, fully measured requirements that are to get to that particular point takes time. So often if you go to a university and study a business degree, it'll take you 3 years. And the industry's demands have changed in those 3 years. And we're suggesting, when we are on the forefront of speaking to what industry wants, the banking sector, for example, they are telling us that we need certain skills today. We need these skills now because we have the vacancies. They don't have the luxury of waiting 3 years. So we're suggesting, let's talk to the market, let's create and curate these programs that speak to filling that demand immediately. So we get a lot of comment from from industry saying we can't take many university grads because theoretically they're great from an educational and learning perspective, but practically they don't have what is required to add value as they land in the workplace. And a great example now is, and there's this incredible trend that's happening, is if we're speaking to a bank and they're saying to us, Gary, you and your team, we want software developers, we want Java skills, and we need them now. Yes, they're interested in the skills, but one of the biggest things that they're interested in is understanding the aptitude and the attitude of the learner to get placed into a job that has the willingness to continue to learn and upgrade their skills. And that is critical. When we find those people, they get placed into a fantastic stream of work for the rest of their lives.
Right, so much to talk about the future of education, especially with the kind of job demands that are out there, and so much will be discussed, and I believe it's not your last visit to our studios, eh?
I hope not.
All right. Well, Gary Bannatyne is the MD of Level Up, speaking to us about the future of education right here on SABC News. Let's take a break.